Hello, this is Brother Johnny Williams with another edition of In the Word. First, let me apologize to my subscribers and followers for not being present for a few days. I've been in trouble about some things. I hadn't been sleeping well, and it's like my mind went blank, so to speak. I couldn't do a sermon. I couldn't study. It's like I couldn't focus. And as always, I continue to pray and I ask God to give me directions and guidance as to what He wants me to speak about. So again, these last few days I've been praying and I've been asking and praying and asking, and finally He gave me a sermon. And it's simply your good name. You know, I always talk about family. I always try to break it down where you can clearly understand what it is that, or the message that I'm trying to convey to all of my followers. So, actually, it's going to be about your good name, but again, it's going to be a life lessons and testimony sermon today. But first, as always, I'd like to lay my foundation as to what I want to convey. And in order to do that, we're going to have to read a few scriptures in Proverbs. Actually, we're going to read Proverbs 22, and we're going to read verse 1, verse 4, and verse 6. And then we're going to have a general discussion. So let me give you a minute to get to Proverbs 22, verse 1, verse 4, and verse 6. Proverbs 22, we're going to begin there. And it simply says, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. And then we're going to go over the 4. By humility and fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. And then we're going to go over to 6. Pay very close attention to this one. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That verse right there is probably the most important, shall I say, message that I want to convey. But again, we're going to go back to verse 1, and we're going to progress up to verse 6. And a general discussion here. Because again, life lessons and testimony. So let's get our minds open. Let's be. I hate to use a big word, but susceptible to input. Don't put up a hedge. Don't put up a brick wall. Again, life lessons. These are things that happen every day. These are things that you have seen all throughout your life. And again, I see it all the time. People do not talk about the things that we really need to be addressing. If we don't address the things that we really need to, it hinders progress. That is why I teach and preach the way that I do. I have come to the realization that some people do not agree with the way that I teach and preach. I have been scorned as to, well, brother, you're gonna run people away from you. People don't want to hear that. Well, I'm sorry. Just because you don't want to hear it doesn't mean that you don't need to hear it. You need to hear the truth. And I'm going to tell the truth. So let's get back to Proverbs 22. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and love and favor rather than silver and gold. Let's clear that up about a good name. What is a good name? Some people may think because you're born into riches, or you're born into a family that has a reputation, that means that you automatically have a good name. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that is not so. A good name is earned through hard work and dedication, doing the things that you know that are right versus going with the status quo. And when you do the things that you know to be right, a lot of times you get rebuked and you get scorned, and it hurts so. But as I said earlier, if you're a man and a woman of God, you know that you will be persecuted for his name's sake and spreading his word. I asked, I believe in my last sermon, are you ready? I also stated I am. I will not stop. I don't care how many times you knock me down, how much you ignore me, I'm still going to come at you with the truth. And again, I don't want to get too far off subject here, so let's get back to your good name. I want to ask you something. How do you want to be remembered? Does it make a difference to you? Does it make a difference to one day if God blesses you with a long life? And as of course you know, if he blesses you with a long life, you have to age, you have to get older. Things get a little different when you get older. You go to thinking about your mortality. You go to thinking about what's going to happen to me, what will become of me. That's if you have a conscience, or if there's any humbleness in you. These things start to manifest itself a lot as you get older. So again, I want to ask you, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered a fool? Do you want to be remembered as a person that just was here, contributed nothing, helped no one, didn't care about anyone? Do you want to be remembered as a loving, kind father or mother, whatever the case may be? Again, your good name. Your chosen name. Again, it is not easy. But if you do, if you continue to walk with God, if you continually keep faith, if you continue to fight the good fight, while you are running your course, your works will follow you. You remember that. Regardless of what anyone says about you, regardless of when anyone talks about you behind your back or sniggers or grins or whatever. If you are right in God's eyes, your works will follow you. And that means more than any riches that you can amass here in this fleshly existence. Now, I've hit enough on good names, so let's go to verse 4 and let's read that one. By humility and fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. By humility and fear of the Lord, fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. If you fear the Lord, if you walk with the Lord, you've heard this phrase before, he will give you the desires of your heart, riches, honor, long life. He will give you these things. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to wish for it. He's telling you right here, he will give you these things. And I'm pretty sure each and every one of us, we want to live a comfortable life. Every man or woman desires honor. And all of us want to live a long and fruitful life until God sees fit to call us home. Most importantly, verse 6. Most importantly, because when I get to life lessons, we're going to get into that one real hard. Verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, I'm going to be so bold as to where it says train up a child. When it says he. Well, I've always said that this Bible, these verses are geared towards men, but you have more, there are more than just men that you may have as children. You may have young ladies. I never forget the importance of a good woman, a strong woman with a solid foundation. Now, these solid foundations come from you as a parent that walks with God, rearing up your child, training your child in the way that they should go. Now, let's get to the life lessons part of this. I want to share some with you. When I was a young man, I used to see this very, 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 very often. Someone would die, an older person in a neighborhood or someone that, we know. And this is what I would see. I would see fighting amongst children, no kind of fellowship. I mean, just like it's an all-out war starts when the mother or the father passes away, and they leave the things they leave behind. It's just a battle for it. And the killing part about it, I have seen so many things lost as a result of bickering and arguing between siblings, children. Your mom or your father may die and leave money or a home or something of that nature. Excuse me. Here comes the argument, and here comes the fight. The people come out of the woodworks. People you haven't seen in fellowship with in years. They will show up. Why? Because they want something. They haven't washed their road. They haven't suffered at all. Again, you don't see them. You don't have contact with them. But when there's something at stake, they'll show up. And I used to see so much stuff lost. The house is lost. They want the house. Or they want the money. They don't want to pay taxes on it. They don't want to do this, but they want. And what happens? They just want. They don't want to suffer for it. And someone else ends up getting it. Now, I saw this so much when I was a boy coming up, and I made up in my mind at a very young age, that's not going to happen to me. Even before I was formally introduced to God, I made that up in my mind. That's not going to happen. Because I always wanted a family, even at a young age. And when I said that I wanted a family, I meant it. I was going to do the things that I needed to do to make sure that my children got the proper upbringing and the proper training. Now, I said before, I've made mistakes. I prayed about it, I moved on. But I'll tell anybody, look at the results. It says your works follow you. A lot of us make mistakes. A lot of people try to judge you, but they do not know what's in your heart, and they do not know the relationship that you have with God. Do not fall into that trap, listening to what other people are saying about you. Because you'll fall into that trap. That's the devil at work. getting back to rearing up a child the right way. See, again, you have to pave your road. If you want something, there are short-term and there are long-term goals to anything that you may try to attain. You see, if I want a child that's got the proper mindset, I'm going to do everything in my power to instill that proper mindset in that child or those children. As it said, train them upright when they're young. When they get old, they won't depart from it. Now, let me interject this here. Sometimes, I've said it before, you can get children, they will turn to the left and they will never come back right. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much time you've taken. It just doesn't take with them. It happens. It's part of life, and it hurts so. But let me tell you this: when you have a child that you see potential in, you work with that child or those children. You put all that you can into those children, because again, what's at stake? Your good name. You don't want it squandered. You don't want it trampled on, because it means so much. You've fought all your life to build your good name. And I'll say this before man and God. I will choose the right one. If God blesses me with riches and anything that I leave behind, I'm going to make sure that I leave it with the right one. One that I have suffered with, one that I have observed, one that I am confident that will carry on my name. Because I don't want my name squandered. Williams, I have a common name, maybe common to you, but to me, it's more precious than gold. It's my name. A name that my father before me gave me, and it means a lot to me. And I'm going to make sure that it means a lot to the one that I entrust with that. You do the same. I see so many parents. You love your children too much. You're thinking with your heart instead of your brain. Instead of walking with God and using common sense. Remember, if you love mother, father, children more than me, you're not worthy of me. And if you're not worthy of him, he's not going to walk with you. You're not going to get good advice. You may think that you are. Because, again, your heart's not in the right place. Your mind is not in the right place. These two things need to be as one, in conjunction, together. Again, lay your foundation right with your child or children that you are teaching the importance of life, of a reputation, your good name, how to walk with God, how to talk with God. It is sadly missing so much in society today because people don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about children, talk to the children about the right things. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I'm going to talk to you about the things that happen each and every day. I'm going to talk to you about the heathens walking up and down the streets. I'm going to talk to you about the whoremongers and the prostitutes and things like that. I'm going to put it in your face where you can clearly see it if you don't see it, or I'm going to put it where you can stop ignoring it. It's right there. See, and when these things happen, you're so hurt, and all the time, it's your fault. You're enabling these people or not these people, these children. You are enabling them to do these things. Now, I'm going to cut off right there, and then I'm going to get to testimony. As always, I use myself. You see, I used to fit in the category. I wanted people to feel sorry for me. I had a game I used to try to run, on people. I look sorry and, stand around, young man, how can I help you? Is there something I can help you with? Well, I don't have any money, and I don't this, and I don't that. And, people would, out of the kindness of their heart, let me get close to them. And I would hurt them. I'd steal from them. I'd lie to them. I'd do all these things. And now, sometimes, brothers and sisters, it hurts so bad when I get off to myself and I think about all of the people that I have hurt and misused in my life on this journey. Good people that only meant me good, only wanted to help me. And on that note, let me tell you something about that. And this is coming from a person that used to be like that. There are people that will use you until you have nothing left. And they don't care, they'll laugh at you. They can be your friends, and more importantly, they can be your family members. You don't see them until they want something. They won't pick up the phone and call you. They won't come see you. It can be right around the corner, right across the street. But they don't fellowship with you until they want something. And then here you are with the kind heart. You're constantly reaching out to them. And for brothership's sake, or I'll use that word, or sistership's sake. You're constantly reaching out to them. And they keep biting your hand. And then you keep sticking it out there. Well, I am not one of them anymore. When I told you that I was a man of God, I meant it. And I keep going back to Matthew. When God says, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye as wise as serpents. I'm going to tell you this one more time. Oh, I may say it again, but for this sermon's sake, I'm going to say it one more time. If you are constantly trying to treat a serpent like a turtle dove, you are putting yourself at a great disadvantage. You see, the nature of a serpent is to bite or strike. That's its nature. Please hear me. God doesn't tell you to allow a serpent to keep striking you. They tell you to be as wise as a serpent. If you're as wise as one, you know to stay away from one or feed it with a long handled spoon, so to speak. And sometimes some of those serpents are very close to you. And even though you're feeding with a long handled spoon and you're doing what you're supposed to do, it still hurts. Because you have a heart. But you have to be strong enough to do what you know is right. I'm not going to allow anyone or anything to continue to hurt me unnecessarily. When I say me, I want you to understand me. I'm also talking to you. Heed my advice on this. Here's the story. There's a young man that is thought to have a problem. I said thought to have one. The way he carries himself. He acts as if he has a problem. But in reality, he really doesn't. He's very smart. He knows exactly how to act and when to act. And he's a member of my family. I had to have a talk with my baby sister the other day. And I'm going to say this because I'm saying this with love and as an example to anyone that's listening, because some of you got the same kind in your family. This one will squander everything that he has. But he waits. He waits until it gets close to time for him to get his hands on something else, and he disappears. Very smart. Now, if he did that once, maybe twice, I would think that maybe there's something wrong. But he continues to do it. There's nothing wrong. He knows exactly what he's doing. He will give you something. Hold this for me. Keep this. I'll come back and get it. And the next thing you know, the very thing he gave you, he done got some more. Again, does it once, maybe twice. You may think there's a problem, but he continually does this. Doesn't have a problem. You go, you get things from people. And then when it comes time to give it back to them, you disappear. You run. One more time. You do it once, maybe twice. But you continue to do this repetitive. If you continue to do that, you don't have a problem. You know exactly what you're doing and you need to be told. You know exactly what you're doing, and there's a way to deal with something or someone like that. You stop enabling that person, because as long as you enable that person, even in the tiniest amount, they're going to keep exploiting you. See, that's that word, tough love. Sometimes it hurts so bad to use it, but you have to. You have to. You can't save everybody. I had to come to that realization. You can't. Don't try. The verses in the Bible tell you there's just going to be people that are here. There are going to be people that will never change. You have to learn to recognize those sorts of people, and you steer clear of those sorts of people, but through trial and error. So let me back up. I will try. I will try to help anyone to a certain extent. When you show me what you are, then I form my opinion and I move on. Or either I'm going to move on or I'm going to continue to try to help you. That is good, sound advice to anyone. Now, you may not agree with me. If I had an audience sitting in front of me right now, I could see some of you shaking your head. No, you just don't understand. Yes, I do understand. So let me be clear. A person with some kind of mental impairment is not in control of their functions at all times. And they need helping and they need watching. But an able-bodied person that can make decisions from day to day, that can discern from right and wrong, there's nothing wrong with them. They just need to be handled a certain way. Okay? Remember, you're a jealous God. If he kindles his wrath at you because you continue to disobey his commandments, his statutes, when he kindles his wrath against you, you don't know what may happen. But you do know he will kindle his wrath against you if you do not follow his commandments. So again, life lessons testimony. Before I close, one more time. Again, take a dose of my own medicine. you have people that want to be and scorn you all the time. Tell you, hey, I said it at the onset, and I'll say it again. Hey, brother, maybe you need to change your way of preaching. And I'll tell them, hey, brother, maybe you need to change your way. Okay, you're preaching. You're going to the scriptures, and you come up with your sermon every week with your followers. But every week, the same thing is constantly happening. Okay. All right. Are you pulling people in? Are you helping to change people? Are people coming to you for advice, or are people just coming in for an hour or hour and a half, listening to you yell and scream for a minute, and just walk off, and they've learned nothing, they've heard nothing? I mean, again, I don't want to. I'm not bad mouthing anyone. This is a conversation that I've had, and I want to tell